can, sell the building and Joe Blow developer puts up a townhome. So I would like to eliminate that clause from the historic preservation ordinance and get the agreement number from 2/3 down to say 58%, which I think is a substantial majority and fair as well.
All righty, thank you, Todd. Mary?
Okay, I'm going to bring the elephant back in the room. Traffic among the upzoning, but I'm going to talk about traffic. And one of my neighbors, unfortunately, she wasn't able to come out and see her. Her name is Beverly Johnson. She lives at 730 Kenton on the corner of Kenton and Capron. But I need to say something about traffic going into this. We decreased the lanes on Dennis to 2 lanes. The traffic is humongous. And we're talking about having the event center and a library there right on Morris Boulevard. The offices, the complex that was built where Mount Vernon is, they enter that on Hopper. And the library and the event center is going to be there. We've decreased the lanes on Dennis. It looks beautiful, but the traffic is terrible. Sometimes I've sat all the way back almost to Canton before I can even cross Morris Boulevard. And all of the residential lots, and I mentioned this when they were first saying that, they are short streets in between turning to get into them. The only street that has a little bit more turning lanes is at Canton and New England. So if anyone is coming home and have to go into their neighborhoods, you stop in traffic again. Traffic is building up. So you can make something look beautiful, you can widen the sidewalks, but you're creating problems with traffic. And yet, when you're approving to build a lot of these buildings, it's not even, you don't even build into the fact that they need parking. You maximize the building on the lot that they are building on without proper parking. And on her house, she's had someone run into in her yard, run into the fence almost into her house, and just a block away in between her house and my house, about 3 weeks ago, a car ran up a telegram pole. And they're speeding through there, and the police, they put the little thing there where they say, oh no, nobody can get that speed. They get that speed all the time flying down through there. They cut through traffic. And we create problems for more traffic, and we say everybody's looking at traffic, but we're not doing anything about it. We are creating more problems with traffic than we're solving. So that's a big thing. And the other thing, and I'm going to let it go at this, you can answer both of those, is the upzoning. We need to try to preserve what's left of the single family R1A, what's left in this community, and stop upzoning based on a developer or speculator buying the property and then requesting to upzone it for something because they want a larger house or whatever. When they bought it, they knew it was R1A. If they chose to spend money and design it for something other than that, that's on them. That's on them. Because they knew they should be designing something within that zoning code. And I think, we've set precedents, so you'll give it to one, and it's hard for you to tell another developer when they come, they can't have the same thing. So the question is traffic and upzoning.
So for 5 years, I've listened to Commissioner Seidel talk about traffic to no avail. He has a background in that, and I have somewhat of a background being an engineer myself. And all I've seen for the last 10 years is the allowance of upzoning after upzoning, and this is another major concern I have about the Canopy project, is Harper's not capable of handling that kind of traffic. Morris isn't. 1792 is already a pain. Commissioner Seidel finally made it through the commission last night that we need to do something with the intersection at 1792 and Fairbanks. I mean, we're loading up with fast food restaurants now, compounding the problem. You know, I'm not for a moratorium on development, but it has to be done a lot smarter with infrastructure and traffic in mind. Like I said before, when I was a developer, my property rights were whatever zoning I bought. So if it was a C1 property, we built to C1 codes. We never lobbied anybody. I never saw a commissioner, not once. We go in with our permits in hand. They got stamped off after approval. There was no monkey business like we see every day. A few months ago, during the day, it was early in the morning, I went to a private developer staff meeting. Our entire executive city staff was around the table with Dan Bellows. A 2-hour meeting. This meeting probably cost the city $2,000 in salary, and I've never seen that again. And there wasn't one person from the public there to witness all these variance requests and upzonings and zoning changes. It was all done outside the public eye. Had I not been there, no one would have known about it until it got to the commission, and then it's too late. So right now we have 3 members of our commission that are very much pro-development and pro-upzoning, and that's why I'm running. I'm going to remove one of those upzoners from the commission.
Let's see, the first part of your question is traffic.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on there. Mr. Weaver didn't address it, but I will try. The opportunities for traffic on Denning have to be related to our patients. When the project is done and the signal timing is fixed, that road has a capacity that is ample for the traffic that is going down. And so I just ask for your patience on that. With regard to applause for me being an upzoner, it's a total fallacy. If you can show me all of the upzonings that I have approved, I would welcome seeing it, Mr. Weaver, do you have it?
No, we can go, let's stay focused, stay focused. We're doing well.
Yeah.
We're over our time, so let's respect. It is dark, we have seniors who have to drive in the dark, in the traffic, so stay focused.
Well, I take exception to being categorized and unfairly, and I think that's been a consistent theme throughout this campaign.
Okay,
Please send it to me. Yeah, send it to me.
okay. Were you finished with that?
Yes.
Okay.
My name is Aubrey Reed, but I got 3 different things I would like to say. If I heard right, I think you said that the CRA beautify with flowers. Okay, if they beautify with flowers, why can't they help with this underground cable that people have to pay to connect, which is a good thing because of the hurricanes and things. But then $1,000 we gotta pay for them to come on our land and hook it up. Well, why can't the CRA help with that? They can help with paint, they can help with driveways. Why can't they help with that?
I believe they can. Yeah, there is one thing that our Utilities Advisory Board has done. They've managed to allow low-income families to pay for that undergrounding over time. So you're not stuck with a big bill right now.
Now, some people say they gotta get some kind of box. I don't know what that is. There's some kind of box, say they can't connect because they don't have the box. I don't know what it is, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with what that is.
And that will be extra money. But the senior, I mean, these are seniors. I'm a senior citizen too. I'll be 85 my birthday. And my second one is, okay, a few years back, on Capon Avenue. People go down that street like it's on I-4. Sometimes they run the stop sign at Canton and Capon. Why can't they put speed bumps on those roads?
That's a question. Can you answer that quickly? No? Okay.
And so the guideline is, okay, the fence gotta be 3 to 4 feet in the front. Okay, if people put hedges there, okay, that's fine. Why would they have to put 10-foot trees behind the hedge and cover up the whole house?
Can any of you answer that question?
I'm not sure what the question really is. I'll figure it out.
You didn't understand? Okay. Over there on the pew,
Yeah.
they renewed the house first. And they done put hedges to the sidewalk, and right behind it, I don't know if they oak trees or what, but they got them behind the hedges, and they about 10 or 12 feet tall, all across there. And two, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know about this, but I do know when the hurricane came, Hurricane Irma, the housing tributaries, the elevators was out for over a week, and one lady had to slide down, elderly lady now had to go to dialysis, and she had to slide down the steps so they could take her to. So who's responsible for that?
Thank you, Ms. Reed. Any answers, gentlemen?
I didn't understand it, really.
I'm not sure I understood about the oak trees.
Can I clarify?
Are they in the way?
Okay.
Just raise your hand.
Okay.
Because there's a lot. She's gonna clarify.
Over on Lyman Avenue, there's a new house, and so that you won't see the facade, they put up tall trees, like in a line, like a fence. And so she's saying the same thing occurred where she is.
On her street.
But there's a restriction of how high a fence can be. So I guess because there's restriction on how high a fence can be, now new residents are restricted to putting in trees side by side, so they won't have to look at their beautiful neighbors.
Like the trees are for the corporate, the headquarters, is what you're talking about. It's going really tall.
Landscaping code says,
If you ever,
I'm not sure what the,
on the trees, but there's a restriction on the wall.
wall, yeah.
that's her concern.
And so she'd like to have a restriction on the trees as well?
Right, how could there
No,
not?
I'm just asking why is it like that?
I can't answer that question. I'll look at the landscape code and try to figure it out. I don't know.
Okay. Alrighty. One last thing. Okay, so this was good. Give yourselves a round of applause for staying this way. We made it through. So a couple of things, and I want to make a clear distinction. So during the hours of 12 to 4, I do manage the Hannibal Square Heritage Center. So taking on this was something outside of the Heritage Center, along with these ladies here. So there is no correlation. This is not a Heritage Center project. I want to make that very clear. Okay, this is a community project, me as a resident of Winter Park, of West Winter Park, okay? So I want to make that clear. One of the things that was spoken about on several occasions, and I want to go back to Donna Lee's question, was representation. That is a very important issue at this particular time in our global world, the global world that we're living in. Representation is where you have someone, you have a community of people, and each one of those people, each people in that community, they come from a different background. They speak a different language, perhaps. They have a different type of understanding. Without representation of a diverse community, you're not speaking to the entire community. And there are going to be some people who feel left out of that conversation. okay? They're gonna feel left out of the process. So it is very important that we each define what diversity means to us, what inclusion means to us, what representation mean. There was a question around helping minority businesses. Am I correct? There was a question. And the answer was a complete disconnect. This is a small business starting out. The question, I'm sorry, the answer I think was something around the facade, that the CRA helps with the facade. That's a disconnect. That's why it's so important to have representation on many levels. You have to have a business in order to have the facade placed on it. So that's another reason why representation is so important, because we want to be able to speak and connect to everyone in the community. So that missing component can make an entire community of people, neighborhoods, feel left out. One of the things we mentioned, single member district. And in single member district, in this particular area, Hannibal Square area where we are, let me downsize this. I just wanted to point out, the west side is the 4th precinct. Hannibal Square makes up about a 1/4 of that precinct. Precinct 4 includes neighborhoods from Lake Maitland, Lake Bell, and Lake Killarney. So Hannibal Square would not be a district of its own. Single-member district allows the neighborhoods and the residents to elect someone from their community who is understanding, who can represent their needs and their issues. So that's why representation is so important. Forrest, I could be flattered about electing me, but once again, I don't need to be appointed in some, let me initiate my own engagement. That's very important. A lot of times we're selecting and picking people as though we're doing them a favor. Let me initiate my own engagement on where I fit in.
I agree 100%, but what I did say before was that the Hannibal Square community within its boundaries could vote an elected leader.
So let the Hannibal Square neighborhood community members determine what that looks like.
Exactly.
A lot of times we're pitching ideas and not sure of how that impacts the community. I always thought I knew what was best for my sons until my son decided, no, Ma, I'm no longer playing soccer, I'm playing basketball. So until a person or person's community becomes empowered through their own decision making, that's where the changes begin. So I could be flattered, but I'm okay right here. I'm okay right here with my endeavors. So with that being said, I want to thank Pete Weldon, Commissioner Pete Weldon. Thank you for coming out. Candidate Todd Weaver, thank you for coming out. Our moderators, Mary Howard, Holly Tannehill. Community neighbors and residents, thank you.